there. Welcome to our very first Gacha Chat or capsule review or short pack episode. We don't actually have a name for it yet, but we're not worried about it. That'll come over time. This is an episode where we take a smaller subsect of our co-hosts and take a longer look at one particular release to discuss its significance in the collecting community. I'm Kyle, and joining me here is my co-host Dave.
Hey there, how's everybody doing?
Today we are collecting our thoughts on the Premium Bandai King Ghidorah set. So a lot of people out there are probably unfamiliar with Premium Bandai, but Premium Bandai all started from Bandai, and of course, Dave, you know who Bandai is.
Of course, Bandai is what I started with in my collecting journey, and they were the quintessential figure for many collectors who wanted realistic style Godzilla and monster toys, Ultraman 2, that weren't quite as expensive as garage kits, which is pretty much all that was available back in the day. So yeah, that started me on my journey.
Exactly. So everybody knows about Bandai, but a few years ago, I'm saying maybe 4 years ago, we heard about Premium Bandai. Premium Bandai was a new line of kaiju stuff. It's actually way more than kaiju. They do all sorts of stuff with Kamen Rider and all sorts of other properties. But basically, we heard about them because at G-Fest, we were being visited by two brothers named Sanda and Gaira. And these guys were on display at G-Fest for, I think, 2 years in a row. And the second year is when the actual rep from Bandai, Kaneda-san, came and hung out with a lot of G fans, got a lot of feedback from people, and took it back to Japan and basically started producing these lines. So again, the very first two were Sanda and Gaira. The detail on these things is fantastic. David and I have talked a lot about these just in general, and we're very impressed with the quality of the sculpts and the paint jobs. Wouldn't you say, Dave?
Absolutely. And just even the poses that they chose really represent each character. I mean, Sanda's like his peaceful pacifist self, and Guy was ready to kick some ass, So they really, really nailed the sculpts on these. And the way they displayed them, as you remember, at that G-Fest, they were in this beautiful glass case with a diorama on a turntable. So you could see them from all directions. So that really got me excited. And those, of course, were the prototypes, but lucky for us, the when they were released, they were almost identical to the prototypes, which made me really happy.
We were talking, you said earlier, we were talking about the Bandai used to be the name in toys for highly detailed figures. And I think they sort of got that taken away from them when X Plus hit the scene. And so this is almost like Bandai coming back into the game and producing these premium figures. These are not figures destined for small children who live at home and are going to be taking them into the bathtub with them. These are for collectors, and the sculpt quality, the paint quality, and the price tag all reflects that.
Absolutely. And they are almost like little mini model kits.
So after the Gargantua brothers, they actually released the very first of the Frankenstein bros. And this is, of course, Toho's Frankenstein. It is a fantastic figure. He's in this really dynamic pose. I'm a big fan of this. I pre-ordered it as soon as I saw it. Dave, did you get Frankenstein too?
Oh, absolutely. I think I pre-ordered it even before I saw it because it's one of my favorite Toho sci-fi fantasy films. And they're really up to that point. X Plus came out almost the same time, maybe a little bit earlier. I'm not quite sure of the chronology of that, but the fact that we now had two representations of the Frankenstein, the Japanese Frankenstein, was pretty awesome to me. I think Iwakura, aka Cast, had a small one that I actually have. And I think aside from model kits, garage kits, that's pretty... Oh, no, I'm sorry. M1 and Marmit did have some soft vinyl stylized versions of Frankenstein.
Very stylized, for sure.
Still awesome. But up to that point, these were the first, good-sized, realistic depictions of Frankenstein. And as awesome as the X Plus is, the detail's great. I think I actually like the pose a little bit better on the Bandai Premium. It's a little bit more dynamic. Yeah, it's actually a really great figure, and it only made sense that they followed it up with their next release, which was his sparring partner in the film, everyone's favorite subterranean devil, Baragon.
The cool thing about Baragon, in my opinion, I mean, he's crawling for one, and that's awesome.
He
But
is.
not only is he a crawling Baragon, but he comes with a very special bonus.
Oh, yes, he does. At first, I was a little bit skeptical. I thought, what the heck are they thinking? But then when I saw it, they came out with Frankenstein's severed hand, which was
gruesome.
directly from a scene in the film.
Now, after the Baragon figure, they sort of went straight into the mainstream, and they released the 1954 Godzilla figure. You have that one as well, don't you?
I do. This guy is just another amazing example of the Shodai Godzilla suit. It's kind of brown in tone, so I think it sort of represents the poster version of the Shodai Godzilla. But yeah, this was released when you were in Japan, Kyle, I believe.
Yeah, I had basically just landed in Japan when I took the last Fanvasion group over to see the 65th birthday of Godzilla, and that guy had just came out. And so that brings us to our next release from Premium Bandai, which is the meat of this this chat here. We are talking about their 1964 King Ghidorah set. It came out at the very end of last month. It came out at the end of December. Such a crazy cool set.
In Japan, right?
Yeah, it was Boxing Day. That's exactly right. The price tag, if you are lucky enough to be in Japan, to order it from Japan, was 14,300 yen, which is roughly $130. Of course, if you're an American collector, you're going to pay more for fees, extra shipping, and all that good stuff. In addition to it having this amazing double-sided box that has the golden Ghidorah on one side and the blue Ghidorah on the other, it comes with 2 bodies, 2 pairs of wings, and 3 trios of heads. I have to ask David, because especially we know that you got the X Plus version that came out earlier last year. What was it that hooked you that said you had to buy this figure?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had both versions of the X Plus. I know I'm crazy. I have the Rick version, and I also have the standard version, which I saw at the pop-up Godzilla store in Seattle. And seeing something in person, which we talked about before, gets my juices flowing, so to speak. So anyway, yes, I do have both. And I was sort of on the fence whether or not to pull the trigger on getting this set. But as you know, if I didn't love it, I probably could have passed it along to another collector without too much trouble. But when I did open the box, I was just completely floored and overjoyed, and my expectations were exceeded tenfold.
Fantastic. I think for me, because I did not order the X Plus, rainbow wing blue Ghidorah, when I saw Premium Bandai announce this, I just said, I have to have it. And the fact that it comes with not just the blue Ghidorah, but also your standard gold options as well, it just was a no-brainer. And I'm actually very, very happy with this set. I thought it'd be kind of cool for us to do some size comparisons. And sure. I know you have the original Bandai Ghidorah that came out way back in the day. So if you could grab that and grab your Premium Bandai, we could show these viewers what to expect in terms of scale and size. So
they're pretty similar, as you can see, in scale. There's a really vast color difference, as you can also see. This is sort of a greenish gold version. This is actually the 1988 re-release of the Bandai standard figure, and this new Bandai Premium, it's more of a movie accurate color, but they're pretty much the same scale. I'd even go as far as to say, is this guy's even a little bit bigger? Nice solid figures, great detail.
And David, also you have that X Plus figure, so why don't you show the viewers the size difference, which I could imagine is pretty great, between the X Plus King Ghidorah and this Premium Bandai King Ghidorah.
This figure is just a masterpiece. It's amazing. The detail is phenomenal, and it's pretty big, and it's a little bit delicate, I gotta say. So the fact that I now have this guy which also has the same great attention to detail, not quite as detailed, but I can now bring this outside and photograph it and not worry about it being damaged or broken in any way, shape, or form. So definitely great for collectors who maybe missed out on this, didn't have the money for the high price tag, or just doesn't have the space for it. So it's a great alternative if you want to have this particular version of King Ghidorah.
Well, this particular version of King Ghidorah really does look great. It looks great on its own, but I thought it would be kind of cool to talk about who else this would look great with, because as we know, Godzilla and King Ghidorah are basically the Batman and the Joker of the Toho universe. Is that appropriate? Who knows? I don't care.
Think so.
But so I'll actually start this off with comparing the very first, one of the first Godzilla releases to this King Ghidorah. This is the 1964 from, Mothra versus Godzilla, the movie that came out before. But if you can see, the scale's not so great. Godzilla is actually much larger. And I don't think I ever noticed that in the original Bandai release. But basically, Godzilla is way too big if you're trying to scale him appropriately with this new Premium Bandai release. As we also know, SH Monster Arts released a Godzilla figure from 1964. This is kind of the opposite side. Way too small. It's like a mini Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. And, I could go and get my X Plus figure from the 25 centimeter line, but I think, David, you and I and the viewers, we all know that that's just going to be way too big compared to Ghidorah. But the 2001-2002 release of the 1964 B, or Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster Godzilla from X Plus USA, scales like perfectly with this figure. Look at that.
That's spot on.
They are ready for battle, my friend.
That's spot on. That's fantastic. Yeah. Nice catch. I'm glad you pointed that out, because now that's the way I'm going to display them too.
Nice. Well, I'm super happy that I have it.
No, that's awesome that you did that, because I know a lot of collectors love to scale their figures with like scale figures, for lack of better terms. So now, they can just go grab that and put them together, and there you have a little scene right there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, let's talk a little bit about why we're even seeing this blue Ghidorah. What is the story behind the blue Ghidorah? Dave, do you want to take the lead on this one?
Sure. I could tell you about that. So basically, Toho had some movie stills that some of us collectors may have seen in books and magazines over the years, where Ghidorah is depicted with a blue color with the rainbow wings. Now, I came to discover that Tsuburai's original concept for Ghidorah was a crimson red color, which really would have been awesome. I mean, I kind of would have loved to have seen that. Maybe someday we will see that at some point. Okay, but the blue one does exist in movie stills. And as we all know, they decided not to go that direction, and he ended up being that beautiful golden color that we all know and love. But it's just, I just think that these companies that are willing to go back and give us, the hardcore collectors, and even the casual collectors, figures that represent pieces of Toho history. And those kind of figures have a really important place in my collection. I love those things. I eat that up. So for collectors to be able to have it, either the X Plus or the Bandai Premium, that's a pretty cool thing. And now I know, Kyle, you did a little bit of research on other companies that actually did do sort of a bluish version. And some of them even surprised me when you mentioned them before. So why don't you share that with everybody?
Yeah, we made a really, as collectors, we kind of made a big deal when X Plus put that out, the 64 Ghidorah. And it's a beautiful figure, but I sort of got to thinking I know I've seen some other color variants in the past, but I was surprised to find out that Marmit actually not only has created one themselves, they have a blue Ghidorah with rainbow wings in the Vinyl Paradise line. They have a rainbow wing Ghidorah in the Marmit Monster Heaven line, and then another blue with the rainbow wings version in the Parababy line as well. Also, one of the longest standing toy companies in Japan, Marusan, also has a King Ghidorah with the blue color scheme and the rainbow wings. They have a large scale version which you can see in this photo here. But they also have been making these little mini figures really recently. Like this is the size of the minifigures. This is the Rodan.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, these guys are tiny, but they made a whole King Ghidorah set that was a Godzilla Store exclusive as well. Additionally, Pilot Ace has a gorgeous blue Ghidorah with the rainbow wings, and Hazawa Gumi also has one as well. Wow. If we missed one and you have it you sitting there watching this video going like, you forgot about this manufacturer, let us know in the comments. We would love to check that out ourselves.
So if any of you guys out there have any of the figures that Kyle had mentioned, please don't hesitate to send them to us. We'd love to see them and share them with the rest of the viewers. You can, send them to us at any point at #CollectAllMonsters.
So I want to talk a little bit about how to get this figure currently. Now, granted, this is a show that we're recording mid or to the beginning of January, so the information may not be as relevant at the end of the month. But currently, we know that AwesomeCollector.com is selling this Ghidorah figure, the set. Other than that, David and I both used a friend in Japan, so we can't just suggest that person again. But it's important to get in on these releases when they go up for pre-order. Collect All Monsters is going to try and share as much cool pre-order information as we can in the coming months and coming years. But, if you missed out on King Ghidorah, hopefully you can pick it out from Awesome Collector. If you want to get in on the future releases, though, you can use a third-party system like Zen Market and Shopping Mall Japan, although I am pretty sure they're going out of business. And aside from that, though, it just takes a little doing. There are individuals in the Facebook collector groups that could help collectors like us get these figures. According to our representative at Bandai, there will be a U.S. portal coming soon. It's just not ready yet. So until then, you'll have to use those third parties.
That's very cool.
So yeah, if you are interested in getting their future releases, we are aware of one release that is up for pre-order right now. And when this video comes out, the pre-order window will still be available. And that is the Mechagodzilla transformation set that's coming out. It looks pretty awesome. I'm kind of struggling with if I want to buy it or not, because it's another, I think all in all, it's 5 figures in total sold in 2 sets.
Yeah, 5 figures is kind of a lot to shell out for at one point, but the ones that we know are coming out are the last stages of the transformation from the fake Godzilla to his actual metal form. So what's up for pre-order right now are the last 3 in the transformation process. We still haven't seen photos of the first 2, which we're assuming that there are the fake Godzilla in various states of transform, right?
Yeah, totally. And I mean, we're just waiting on Premium Bandai to release some cool photos so we can start salivating for those figures, because I do not have a fake Godzilla figure in my collection, David.
I have a Gashapon, a little Gashapon with the chink taking out of his skin and exposing the space titanium. Well, we would like to thank both Dan and Nev for their extremely helpful research in this video. They're the ones that provided some of the photos of those other manufacturers' toys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And David, thank you for being here and reviewing this figure for me. I'm really excited to see where Premium Bandai takes us in the future. Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I can always talk to you about toys. It's one of my favorite things to do. And to share it with the rest of the collectors is also pretty cool in my book. Speaking for myself, and I'm sure my co-hosts, I just wanted to thank everybody for all the support and positive feedback that we got for the first episode. Really means a lot to us, and we had a blast doing it. And we hope you continue to watch, and we will continue to bring you fun stuff. And if you didn't catch it, you can still catch it on YouTube.
And don't forget, you can catch our next broadcast January 18th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. We'll be live streaming it. Make sure to let us know in the comments if you have a variant of this Ghidorah figure that we did not talk about. Also, if you liked this video, please stomp on that like button and subscribe to our channel for more information as we continue. So until we see you next, our planet may be doomed, our Earth devastated, the monsters are in revolt, and civilization is in chaos. We must unite to collect all monsters!